Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So I'm finally back with another video. The weather's finally cooperating a little bit. I have an Astro van steering shaft right here on my passenger seat that I'm going to be installing in the car today. Let's go get the Camaro and get started on this thing. Here we are, I'm back with the Camaro, and here's the steering shaft up close. Now, I picked this up off of thirdgen.org. There's a guy who makes them. He basically takes them off the Astro vans and he modifies them, paints them, and ships them to you. I paid $75 for this one shipped out. Now, the biggest upgrade, well, the biggest reason for this upgrade over the stock Camaro shaft is because, as all you third gen guys know, this car has a rag joint in the steering shaft. Now, the main purpose of having this joint here is basically just to soak up any vibration that's going to come through the box and into the column. Unfortunately, this takes away a lot of the steering feel, and over time, as this deteriorates and dry rots with age, that can get worse. And just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, you can see as I wiggle the wheel here how much that rubber joint is actually flexing before the actual steering shaft input shaft on the box starts moving. So you have all that extra slack in the steering, which you really do not need to have. So by eliminating that joint and just going directly to the box, by not having a rag joint, that's going to tighten up a lot of the steering slop that these third gens have. So by going to this, we're eliminating that rag joint and get rid of all that extra unneeded slop. Now, I actually did have one of these shafts installed in this car before. I actually ended up modifying that one myself. I went to a junkyard, I pulled one out of an Astro van, and the only thing you really have to do to make this work is the end. Actually, there's a couple of things you need to do. The end that goes on the car here, I believe it's 100, it's either 90 degrees or 180 degrees out. So meaning when the part on the steering box is lined up with the bolt hole, the end that goes on the column coming out of the firewall, it's going to be off, so it has to be twisted in order to get it to line up. Now, the easiest way to do that is you just grind off, actually that's the modified side, so I'll show you the side that wasn't touched. The way that's pressed in there like that, you just kind of grind that down, hammer the yoke off, and then flip it, and then just put it back on and weld it in place again. And that's what was done to this one that I bought on thirdgen.org. And he paints the thing for you. He also includes an Astro van bearing for the column coming out of the wall. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the third gen bushing is plastic and the Astro van one is steel. It's a metal bearing. So what I actually ended up doing was, when I did the shaft, I already upgraded that, so I don't need to install that. Also, when it comes to modifying this, the other thing that needs to be done is, being the third gen shaft passes, the bolt holding the shaft on passes through the actual column, opposed to the Astro van where it just clamps on the outside. You will need to do a little bit of clearancing on that column there. So once again, like I said, I had this in the car before. I went ahead and I already made a little notch with the Dremel, so that's all set up already. So all I got to do is really just unbolt this and bolt this one in. You're just doing this to your car that's completely stock. You will need to notch that a little bit. Now, when I pull this off, I'll be able to show you exactly what I'm talking about. So I'm just going to go and pull this thing out. It's very simple. 2 bolts. The one right on the column there, that's a 15. The one down here is an 11. Just take those 2 out, slide the thing off, and then it'll come right out. Alright, so I got the old shaft out of the car. Now with them side by side, you can see exactly what I mean, where you don't have that rubber joint here, so you're not going to have any of that play. And then the other thing to note, my steering box was leaking before, and if yours is the same way, this piece here is going to soak up all that fluid and become even more sloppy. So that's another thing to note, just to show you how much better it is just not having that joint. It's going to really tighten the steering up. So now that the shaft is out, I'm just going to come in here and show you where exactly I had a notch. Now you can see I just made like a little dimple right here, and the main reason for that, well, the only reason for that, is for being the Astro van shaft, it doesn't pass through like the 3rd gen was, how the bolt goes through it like that. It goes on the outside and it clamps down. So there just needs to be a little bit of room for that bolt to clear. And like I said, I just used a Dremel, went in there, grinded it down a little bit, and that clears just fine. Alright guys, so the shaft is installed. It's actually the next day since I installed it. I just wanted to go and drive the car to work, you know, get a feel of how it felt over the stock rag joint. And right away, it's a huge improvement. Now the first thing I noticed, just sitting at a stop with the car running, turning the wheel, it's way tighter. There's like virtually like no more slack in the wheel anymore. Like before, if you would wiggle this, the steering would almost feel like rubbery and like soft, but now you can see this is like, that's all the play before the steering actually starts turning, and it is way better. Now in regards to noise, which I believe I mentioned before when I was installing it, there is a tiny little bit of like power steering fluid noise that comes through the wheel. I don't know if you can hear it when I turn it. But it's barely noticeable, but it's just something that I noticed that wasn't there before. It's by no means a deal breaker, but I just wanted to point it out. But yeah, this is a huge upgrade. Even driving the car, just going down the road, I find I'm not, you know, correcting myself going down the road. Like if I'm on the highway, just going straight, I could just kind of keep the wheel there. Before, I would be doing, you know, a lot of this, just, you know, keeping the car on center because of all that, because of that dead spot with the rag joint. That's completely gone now. The only thing I had to do is have it aligned, because like I said, when I did my steering box, that threw the alignment off. So my wheel's like this now. And before I got the alignment done, I wanted to wait. I just put new tires on the car. I wanted to wait till I got the shaft in. And now I actually have those weight jacks for the rear. I got the ground control adjustable springs. So I'm gonna put those in the back because I want to drop the car down just a little bit so it's level with the front, because right now it has like just a tiny bit of rake to it. So I want to get that all fixed. That's probably gonna be my next video. And then once that's finished, I'll be ready to align this thing and she'll be good to go. So yeah, definitely a worthwhile upgrade for this car. So now I'm just gonna go for a drive and see how it handles. Guys, so the steering shaft is finished. Yeah, I can't find the adapter to mount my GoPro, so bear with me here. So yeah, the shaft is done. I'm very happy with it. Steering is way tighter, way more accurate. Totally worthwhile upgrade. Like I said, I'm gonna link the link to the thread to thirdgen.org in case you want to hit the guy up, try to order one of these things. I'm sure there are other places you can get them too. I think they sell them on eBay if you want to just get the shaft itself and modify it yourself. But I mean, for like 75 bucks, get the whole thing done, painted, ready to go in the car. It really is a great deal. But that's going to do it for now. As always, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.